Hello everyone, this is the Inside Web 3 podcast show with Pigman. Okay, moving on. I guess we move straight to our Inside Web 3 episodes for today. And I've got, as I said, incredible guests here on the show. I've got Taran, from and Kula, Kula Dao. For some of you who may have come across such, a project like that. And with me also is Lumi Phillips. Lumi Phillips, also the founder. She's the founder of Axiom Recruit. So this is how we're gonna do it. Do it quick and very fast. I will start with Tyron. Tyron will give us an introduction, a very quick introduction about himself, what he does in the space. I mean, his journey in the space. Let's say 3 minutes will be cool for that. So Tyron, if you can hear me, the mic is yours.
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, brilliant. Well, firstly, thank you for the introduction and the invitation to the space. Yeah, so my name's Taran. Taran Dillon. I'm based out just in the UK, and I'm the director of marketing for Cooler. I guess a bit about myself, just personally, is I was actually, it feels like a moon ago now. I think maybe 5, 6 years ago, I actually studied dentistry, so I was actually a dentist, and then I came across one of the founders in Cooler, namely Micah Yakeley out in the States. And what he basically spoke to me about was this vision of if you can use blockchain to provide, on one hand, a very serious and very tangible wealth creation model. So a means of investing into, um, mines and different regional projects around the world, but also, or whilst actually benefiting the communities that live around the particular regional projects. And so that then was the kind of the vision of Cooler at the time, and from there, it's transpired into now, I'd argue one of the most strongest and most powerful use cases for asset tokenization, and that's currently on the market.
Okay, thank you very much for that quick introduction, Tyron. Really appreciate marketing director at Kula. We can't wait to hear what you have to say and all you have to share with us here on the show. So I'll move quick to Lumi. Yeah, Lumi is here to yeah, she's doing pretty amazing things also in the Web3 space. So Lumi, if you can hear me, you just unmute yourself and give us your own introduction about yourself, your journey, what you do in the space. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the invite. It's great to be here. And yeah, it's great to share this with Taran and with yourself. So yeah, as a quick intro, I'm the founder of Axiom Recruit. We're a global Web3 native recruitment agency. In fact, our new website landed today, which is a huge coincidence. So if you have time, go check it out. It's www.axiomrecruit.com. So I guess to start from the beginning, we have been in the space since 2019. We come from recruitment backgrounds. We were working corporate jobs, huge passion for tech and what it can do. And we also thought that the recruitment space need more professional services. And we were absolutely confident that we can offer that to the space. So that's how we started Axiom Recruit in 2019. It's been a really, really crazy journey since then. In fact, I posted on my LinkedIn a little short timeline of our Axiom Recruit stories, where we came from, how we kind of mirrored the Web3 market and we advanced with it and we learned from it and so on. So yeah, it's been an exciting period ever since 2019, and obviously we love the space, we love the innovation, we love matching the right talent with visionary projects. So our main scope is helping early stage projects and scaling Web3 companies to build their world class teams. That's about it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lumi. You guys, of course, are doing very big work here in the Web3 space. Trying to, bring people or help people in their career, and I believe this is one of the most important, like very good place to talk about things like this, because we have, even here at the Premier, we have individuals, we have community members who are so much interested, about the career in Web3, and will be happy to learn what you have to say, in fact, and even go check it out what you guys are doing and see how they connect and make the most of it. So yes, this is really happy having you here on the show, and thank you for this wonderful introduction. So
Thank you.
quick, I will move directly to Taran. Taran has said also some amazing things. So Taran, I just wanted to, I would like you to give us, some insight. You've been in the space for years now. Definitely, you've got your own more perspective of what Web3 means to you as a whole. I mean, um, your perspective on it, evolution. I mean, you started by saying something, with the introductory part. So just go deep. To you, what this whole space is all about. What does it mean to you? What, because you are fully immersed in this space, so it has to mean something to you. What's your perspective? The listeners will
Yeah,
hear what you have to say. Yeah.
yeah, sure. So, I mean, my perspective on I think the space has definitely changed over the years, as I think it's in the case with anything, right? I think when, if we were to look at, for example, cryptocurrency back in, 2019, 2018, just before COVID, I think it was very speculative. I think that, meme coins were leading things, and there was a lot of question marks, even around, for example, some of the leading assets, like, for example, like Bitcoin, ETH, and, at the time, XRP, and even now, to be honest, XRP as well. And it's interesting because, that moves in, as with any type of technology, right? You have something that brings the hype and it brings the user base. And I think many years ago, that was meme coins. It brought the hype, it brought the user base, it brought the eyes on. And then all of a sudden, what happens, and it's similar with the dot-com boom, you had this whole idea of a new internet, and you had all these new people that come on. And with anything that's new, there's a lack of regulation because it's such a new space. People don't really know how to use it as such. There's not much education around it. And so that's why I think over the years now, so going back, 5 years, over the course of crypto, what we've actually seen now is a huge influx of different types of marketing, whether it's, for example, like influencers or people coming into the space. And all of a sudden, you have a lot of people getting scammed as well, and through meme coins, through rug pulls, and all of that sort of stuff. So, but then what's interesting is crypto's now started to change, I'd say, especially over the past couple of years, especially where there's a lot of more projects now that are coming out of the woods that are actually focused around the underlying technology, that's blockchain. So how can that actually be used? And I think people are starting to realize now that it's far more than just something that's speculative and has no intrinsic value. And that's where the conversation around tokenization, I think, is really kind of quite interesting. And, like even for example, with meme coins, I mean, there's people that would argue that meme coins is essentially just buying into, tokenized community. But putting meme coins aside, I think my perspective on the space is that this technology that exists, i.e. blockchain, and the use case of it that you can use, whether it be, for example, in governance, whether it be in transparency, or whether it be through kind of efficiency. That's part of the reason why. You mentioned, for example, bonds and the tokenization of bonds. That's the reason these things now exist, is because more so the efficiency in market, the liquidity that it can provide, and so forth. It's interesting to now see how that's, if you like, transpiring into a wider market. So not just retail. So, it's no longer just, myself and yourself that are, for example, are interested in cryptocurrencies. All of a sudden you've got, governments, you've got wealth funds, you've got family offices, even pension funds, You've got schools and institutions that are now looking into cryptocurrencies as a viable asset class to diversify their portfolio. So yeah, just to round up, I think for me, my perspective on the space and my perspective on Web3 is that this technology is genuinely going to change our lives, and I think it is changing lives. I mean, if I speak from Coola's behalf, we invested into a limestone mine in secured equity in there in Zambia, and it was one of the first DAO governed mines in all of Africa, and this was, I think, maybe last year now. And what was really interesting out of that actually was when that whole governance protocol was given to the community, so the workers of the mines and the local community, one of the first decisions they made out in Zambia was actually to say that they wanted equal pay between men and women. And that was now marked as, I believe, one of the only limestone mines within the particular area, and that actually pays men and women equally. So it goes to show the power of governance, and then also the power of blockchain in enabling those types of decisions and those types of voting methods to actually take place in a transparent and an actual actionable manner as well. That's my take on it. I think that we're gonna start to see blockchain really become part of our daily lives. But I'll pass it over to Axiom. Sorry, I didn't quite catch your name.
It's Lumi.
Lumi. Well, I'll pass it over to Lumi, and yeah, I'll see
Yeah.
your insights.
Yeah, awesome. Obviously, I really agree with the things you've said, and they really resonate with me. I always approach blockchain from a recruitment lens and from my journey in it. And in regards to what you said, the same for us. It's been wild to see DeFi identity, RWAs just go from ideas to adoption in this short few years, and since 2018 to 19. So all this has been very exciting. When we started the business, it was just after the 2018 boom. Bitcoin at the time in 2019 was sitting at between $3,000 and $10,000, and yeah, that's obviously quite a few years ago, and things have evolved really fast. And from my point of view, what's exciting about the industry, and I think also I forgot to mention that my background is sociology, so I've always kind of been drawn to what's happening, in the society, the human layer, and so on. But I've been really drawn to systems that challenge the status quo. So I think this is the main reason why I was pulled into blockchain. The same thing for me is not about hype or price charts. It's about the fundamental idea of this technology, that it is a decentralized, transparent infrastructure where everyone can participate without needing permission. I think this is the main driver for us, and the main passion that comes, with this sector. The concept of reimagining trust, I guess that's really, struck a deep chord with me. So whether it's reshaping finance or ownership or identity, I really do trust that blockchain really has the potential to build so much more, and it has the potential to build up these fair and open and resilient systems that we are after, and this is what I want to be part of. So from my point of view, I think Web3 and blockchain is more than a tech shift, it's a cultural movement. So everything that's been happening, the fluidity of the sector, the speed of the innovation, you see things moving at the crazy pace, and I think this is the most exciting thing about the sector. And I think what needs to be done now is that education, and I guess making it all really accessible, like you mentioned, Taran. I think making it accessible to everyone, so that we don't go to it, but it comes to us, and it's becoming seamless. I think that's when we will be winning as a sector, when we can use it without a headache. That's my view.
I really like the fact that you said that is this whole idea of if you like, a trust enabling society. I completely agree with you, and I think that's going to be one of the largest things as we go into, I think, the next 5 years. Is this idea that it doesn't mean that trust doesn't exist. It's just a case of operating trust in a trustless nature. And that's, I think, more important in particular areas where there's a lack of infrastructure to support, for example, banking, or to support certain transactions to ensure that there's no safety net. And we've seen that personally. For example, we our one of our main kind of brand narratives is we invest in particular areas where traditional finance refuses to go, or we empower community members in particular areas where otherwise their voices weren't heard. And a lot of the reason we're able to do that, quite frankly, is because of because of blockchain. And that's why we're able to go into areas where typically, there might have been, for example, a mining company, and the local community were, quite frankly, quite annoyed. And all of a sudden, we can come in, and we can actually align the interests of these particular stakeholders, from the local community to the actual mining company, all the way through to the actual partners on the ground, allowing the community members to have a say, just because of the trustless nature and the efficiency and the transparency of the technology. I really like that point.
Exactly. I think that the sorry, the one thing that we learned is that the technology is here to stay and crypto is here to stay. So I think this is the main point. I find now was a hype.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
yeah, totally, like, from everything you guys have been saying. Sorry, I went out a little. It's all about this whole technology, disrupting the entire, space. I mean, not just the financial space. We're looking at the blockchain itself, which is the core technology on which, the Web3, with the Web3 ecosystem sits upon, disrupting, communities, disrupting institutions. So many things have happened all over the years, and no one is taking it for granted. Not even the USA. I mean, not even those countries that at some point, I mean, in the past, we're so closed, I mean, so walled against what they feel was a threat to them. Looking at even Pakistan, now on open up to crypto innovations, and you've seen a lot of things happening, even in the US, in African countries, and Asian countries. So Web3, of course, um, which is the version of the internet we've seen, of what develops, just like other versions we've seen its evolution of Web3, and its core values, and all it stands for is, yet to stay, democratizing data, and so much more. And just like what you guys are doing at Kula, and you know we can also relate that with Aprimio, also with what Aprimio is doing, as in regards to do what I said, like code and all this stuff. So I mean, your points are very, very powerful, and I know that many of the listeners are really getting so much from what you guys are saying. So thank you so much. I will move quickly to what I have next year on my list. We're looking at okay. Personally, I think I should go with Tyron. So your specialty. I know you've done some introduction, but let's just move did to what you do, Tyron, at Kula. I mean, what you guys do, what you focused on. Even if you're doing other things apart from Kula, just tell us, if you're currently building something, or you're working, for a company, which of course we know you're working for a company, and just briefly tell us what this whole thing is all about, what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, Cooler invests in Cooler, but by its definition, is a decentralized impact investment firm. And I think just before we even go into kind of what Cooler does, it's probably just important just to break that down. So, decentralization is important because it puts essentially power back into individuals. It empowers a small guy. Impact. So, because wherever we go, whether what investment we make, we always look at what impact we can make. So, what positive social impact can we actually make on the ground? So, if, for example, we're investing into a gold mine, the first thing that our team's going to look at is actually, well, can we actually benefit the local community? Can we, can we make a school in that area? Can we, for example, build roads, or does that local community need, for example, sustenance, or whatever that looks like? An investment, because, well, I guess many people might look at us, if in a traditional sense, a bit like a private equity firm, but with a big spin on social impact and a big spin on governance through use of blockchain. What we basically do at a fundamental level is we invest into different projects. So a gold mine, a limestone mine, hydropower plants. And what we then do is we tokenize the governance that sits around these assets. that's essentially a fancy way of saying that we invest into these projects. As those projects become profitable, i.e., we invest into a gold mine, and that gold mine then starts to, for example, extract gold, and it sells it on the market. And when it makes a profit, that then goes back into a treasury that reflects in our token. But then what we also do is then we allow the local communities to vote on decisions, and we allow them to actually participate in decisions that actually affect them as well. So we offer a really strong governance model that allows decision making and participation across the board, from investors to even local community members. And I guess just to explain that one step further, and I guess I'll just explain it from an investor point of view all the way through to a local community member point of view. An investor is going to benefit because, let's say, if somebody's, for example, a cooler holder, a cooler token holder, they're going to benefit because they can be a steward of their funds by actually participating in decisions at a cooler level, a cooler governance level that will be, for example, fundamental in deciding where resource allocation goes. So, for example, by me holding a cooler token, I can then participate in, hey, we think we should invest into a hydropower plant, as an example. I think that we should invest into this for this budget for a marketing proposal, as an example. But then what we do is we create a really, using our double DAO structure, we create a really different, a really layered approach to governance through basically allowing local community members to be protected per their asset. So as an example, if I'm a cooler token holder and I'm voting on things like marketing proposals, I shouldn't be really voting on, for example, John, who lives a road away from the limestone mine in Zambia, and I shouldn't be voting on what times the trucks come in at night, because that's affecting John. It's not really affecting me out here in the UK. John's kids can't sleep at night because of the trucks, and he's going to put a proposal in at that local level to say that, hey, I don't like these trucks coming in, and this keeps waking up my kids at night. And so what we do is we actually create these, a bit like sub-DAOs. We create these different structures to then allow the local community members' voices to be protected. And they actually then not only just to be protected, so also to ensure that they actually get to have their say as well. In a way then that, yes, we invest into regional projects, but then also we can ensure that the local community's voices are protected. And then also all the meanwhile, we actually allow the local community members to participate in profit sharing as well. And our general rule of thumb is a 40-20-20 split where, sorry, a 40-40-20 split where Cooler, it has 40% equity, 40% equity goes to, for example, the mining company, and then 20% actually goes to the local community. So we're really strong in this idea of using this technology and using these investments to really make a difference on the ground. I think should I pass it over to Leo?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, that was super interesting. Yeah, very, very exciting. The space that you're in, absolutely. Yeah, so from my side, obviously, we are global recruitment agency. What we always say is that we are more than recruiters. We are strategic hiring partners to the sector. So, um, I think the points that make us different from your other recruiters is that first and foremost, we are only senior recruiters. We bring a lot of experience. We have a huge recruitment background. My partner Andrew has been in recruitment for 25 plus years and so on. So I guess the way we work is that we are trying to be a consultative partner to our clients. We are trying to really understand their product, what they have done around it, the infrastructure that they're building and so on, and then serve that in the best way we can. Over the years, we have tried to stay away from the noise and really work with companies that are building meaningful things and that solid infrastructure of the sector. So that being said, we work with a lot of DeFi projects, again, RWA tokenization projects, AI infused infrastructure. And we have been working throughout the years with a lot of launch pads, with VCs, again, the same, like you were saying, the type of companies that are really, like we always say, when you're in the sector, you're for the sector. So we are trying to position ourselves as, partners that know what's happening in the sector and can advise accordingly. All our recruiters are super senior. We work in a really professional way, and we were very lucky throughout the years to have amazing partners that we have been helping out. So from data analytics platforms, now more recently to quite a few AI projects that are taking off. I guess you could say that our work is never boring. We have placed roles like engineering, product managers, growth, community leads, marketing, social media, compliance, AI, ML. Pretty much we cover everything. Mostly at the senior level, but of course, anything that is pushing the sector forwards, we really give our attention and our focus on. So now we have made a move to Dubai. There's a lot of things happening here. Obviously, a lot of events, a lot of innovation. There's obviously Token 2049 starting next week. There's the SUI Best Base Camp. Solana is here. There's a lot of things happening here in Dubai, and we're really well positioned to serve this sector a lot better from where we are here.
Yeah, there was a lot, and you guys did say so much. I believe the listeners are taking, paying attention, and I would say take advantage of what it's been said here. So I would like to do something very fast before I move to the next question. For you guys, please, everyone listening, you can do all to follow our guests. Follow them up, follow them on X, especially follow them, and also follow up with their contents, and even on LinkedIn, which a number of them are. So that would be very good. Also, please do how to retweet this space. Very important. So we could have more listeners come in. If you haven't, you do how to retweet this space so quick. So okay, moving on to the next. Moving on to the next, I'm just trying to read time because of our schedules, and as this is Friday, it's weekend. So yes. So Taran, over to you. You've said a lot on what you guys do at Kula. You bring in trying to benefit the community, as you guys are decentralized, to autonomous organization. What you guys do is definitely what should benefit the community, or what should you know more emphasis placed on community, I would say. So in all your doings, in what you guys do in Kula, what are your challenges? I mean, you must have faced big challenges, small challenges, whatever it is. Or what is a challenge that you can never forget you faced in your career, in what you do at Kula, for instance? Yes. Sapa?
Yeah, yeah, sure. And I think this is going to be very similar to I believe what Lumi is probably facing as well. Because the technology is moving so fast, and because we're in such a, I think we're past the point of early adoption. I think we're now going towards, kind of we're in that mid stage now between early and I'd say more widespread adoption. I think that the most challenging thing at the minute is actually marrying up efforts and marrying up structure with regulation, and ensuring that everything's being done above board, and making sure that it's actually airtight for the years to come. And I think that's really challenging the status quo of Web3. I'm sure Lumi's probably have to advise on very similar things for recruitment. And even for example, when you're offering, for example, marketing services, as an example from my perspective, it's very important to make sure that what you're doing is essentially all above board, and it's all done in a very airtight and a very kind of, if you like, non-questionable fashion, which I think is very different to many of the Web3 projects out there. I like the fact also that Lumi is just, she's leaning towards the idea that she's only essentially employing both senior people, and also the fact of projects that are actually focused around utility. I think it speaks to the recruitment that she's doing, which is also very kind of poignant in what Kula is doing as well. We also are, we're in the space of obviously quite a serious utility project, and it's interesting because I think it's not just Kula. I mean, there's many projects this past year that have launched, which